The story begins in a room within a residential building where Chen Yuan is staring at his phone screen and crying. The cause of his tears is a text from his girlfriend, breaking up with him. Through his tears, he texts her, asking what's suddenly wrong and promises to work hard to give her a happy life. But she blocks him before he can send the message. He collapses on a chair, appearing lifeless. His roommates, unaware of his distress, invite him to play a game, but he ignores them and rushes out of the room. Observing his odd behavior, they assume he's going through another breakup. It's the sixth one this month. On the street, people notice Chen and whisper about him. They recognize Chen Yuan as a notorious dog licker. Chen is there to meet the girl who just broke up with him, Shutong. She warns him not to make a scene as everyone is watching. Chen, believing she's just angry, offers her favorite guava pork and pleads for forgiveness, promising to change whatever she dislikes. The crowd laughs at him, gossiping that Chen works 4 part-time jobs to buy her gifts, yet she still dumped him. Shutong explains she isn't angry. Her ex-boyfriend came back wanting to reconcile, and after much thought, she decided he needed her more. Angrily, Chen calls her ex a scumbag, reminding her that he cheated on her and made her have an abortion. As he shouts, a Mercedes pulls up, and her ex tells her to get in. Before leaving, Shutong tells Chen it's best they don't meet again to avoid misunderstandings with her boyfriend. She drives away, leaving Chen standing there, staring after her. Chen throws the food in a dustbin and enters a convenience store, grabbing a water bottle. As he drinks, he wonders why his heart is always betrayed and if he will remain a dog licker forever. Frustrated, he crushes the bottle and decides there's nothing wrong with being a dog licker. Suddenly, he receives a notification about the most vigorous dog licking system, detecting a host. A screen appears, displaying his biodata and stats. Shocked, he tries to touch the screen and inadvertently touches the chest of a girl standing nearby. She yells at him, calling him a pervert. The system shows her data. Her name is Wale. It informs him that if her favorability towards him exceeds 95 points, she will transform into his licking dog, and he will receive 10% of the amount spent on her as his personal property, along with other rewards. Deciding to use the system on the girl before him, Chen apologizes and offers to pay for her meal. The system successfully binds their dog-licking relationship, with his mission being to counterattack Zhua. The reward for completing the task is 10% dog-licking gold and 5 strength points, which enhance physical attributes like fitness, mental strength, and agility. Zhuale, a popular girl in the art department, once made a man spend 30,000 yuan on her with just 3 words. She smirks at Chen, challenging if he wants to play rich and flirt with her. Onlookers think he's in trouble, but Chen smiles and says she'll know if he's worth it if she tries. She decides to test him, asking him to pay for snacks for all her classmates at the canteen. Though she thinks he looks like a beggar, she's stunned when he transfers 50,000 yuan to her account. The onlookers are equally shocked, thinking he must be a hidden rich kid despite his appearance. Chen smiles and asks if he can add her on WeChat. Zhua, intrigued, agrees but says he must come with her to a place first. Nervously, Chen agrees, having never been this close to a girl before. She takes him to a brand store, claiming she just wants to see his sincerity. He tells her to pick whatever she wants, hoping to test the dog-licking system further. Inside, he hears a familiar voice and sees Shutong shopping for luxury bags. Saddened, he watches her. Zhua notices and comments that she must have come at the wrong time, but Chen smiles and says she's arrived just in time. Zhua asks the shopkeeper if they still have a bag from the spring sales. The shopkeeper replies that there's only one left, but another lady is trying it. Shutong notices Chen and taunts him, saying she can't believe a broke guy like him brought a girl into the store. She tells her boyfriend, who's annoyed as she just celebrated her birthday last month. She explains it was based on the lunar calendar, and now it's the solar calendar. Her boyfriend, irritated by her materialism, questions if she's with him for his money. Nervously, she backs down. Zhua takes the bag from Shutong, saying she'll take it if she isn't buying. Chen pays the bill, increasing Zhua's favorability towards him to 60 points. Smiling, he realizes the power of money. Zhua decides to grab this big fish and calls Chen hubby, thanking him for the gift. Shutong, feeling insulted, pushes Chen as she leaves, telling him he's gone too far. Chen smirks, thinking they still have a long way to go. The system prompts him to bind the dog-licking relationship with Shutong, noting her current favorability is 10%. Once her favorability exceeds 95 points, she'll transform into his licking dog, with a reward of 10% licking gold and 20 strengthening points. Zwa asks if he's relieved now and if she did a good job, wondering where they'll go next. Chen laughs, saying they'll do more shopping. One bag isn't enough. In another store, he points at various items, telling the shopkeeper to pack everything except 2 things. Zwa's favorability continues to increase as he buys her designer perfumes and makeup. Eventually, she tells him it's enough as she can't fit more in her rental house. Chen offers to buy her a house, but she feels ashamed, saying he's already spent a lot on their first meeting. Her favorability drops by 5%. Chen, worried he scared her, reassures her by listing facts about her. She's a junior in the College of Fine Arts, 21 years old, 165 centimeters tall, weighs 49 kilograms, loves black, enjoys Korean food, is a Capricorn, wears size 37 shoes, likes horror movies but is afraid of walking at night. He assures her he wouldn't be so forward if he wasn't sure about it. He then tells the shopkeeper he wants to load their store value card for exclusive members with 500,000 yuan, ensuring that whenever this lady visits, she'll be shown the latest models directly. The shopkeeper follows his instructions. He then tells Wale that if he scared her, she should consider this card a peace offering. Looking at him affectionately, she starts blushing. Leaning close, he whispers in her ear that if she can't handle it, she should give herself to him. She shyly slaps him, calling him a bad boy, which increases her favorability towards him by 30%. Even the store employees begin to admire him, commenting on his generosity and consideration for girls' feelings, despite his modest appearance. Chen reflects that flirting as a rich man has a vastly different effect compared to doing so as a poor man. Zwale, appreciating all he has bought for her, asks if he doesn't want to buy something for himself. He replies that he has no money. She then says it's her turn to give him a present, thinking that to catch a big fish, she needs to give something back. She takes him to a men's clothing store and buys him a few outfits, then to a salon for a new haircut. With his new look, his entire personality seems transformed, and Zwa's affection for him grows. For the first time, Chen feels the importance of self-care. Zwa lifts his chin with her finger and remarks that they look like a good match now. She then thanks him for a wonderful day, admitting she almost felt in love for a moment. She blows him a kiss and bids him goodbye, leaving his current favorability at 68. When Chen returns to his room, his roommates are shocked by his new look. They ask what he has been doing all day and why he is dressed so differently. He casually mentions he went on a date with Zwa. They are skeptical, reminding him of his troubles with Shutong and doubting his chances with Zwa, who is highly sought after in the art department. Later, he receives a text from Shutong suggesting they delete each other's numbers if he hates her. Chun knows she is trying to mess with his head. He thinks deleting her number would hinder his ability to increase her favorability and earn rewards. He replies that he can only hate her if she holds a special place in his heart. She confesses she is with her current boyfriend because she is vain, needs 50,000 yuan for her mother's medical expenses. Without hesitation, Chun transfers 50,000 yuan to her account. Shocked, she tells her friend about the generous transfer. Her friend, surprised, asks who would do such a thing, and Shutong shows her Chin's name. She begins to question if dumping him was a mistake and decides to ask him about his money and relationship with Zwa. However, she is disappointed when he doesn't reply as he has put her contact on Do Not Disturb. Chun realizes Shutong is too predictable while Zwa cannot be rushed. He ponders where else he can legally spend money on women and decides to try a live streaming platform. The girl on the live stream mentions she has an hour left before going off air and urges viewers to send gifts quickly. Chen, amazed by her quick earnings, decides he's in the right place. He sends her a large amount of money, shocking her and the other viewers. An employee at the streaming platform's headquarters informs the boss about an unknown tycoon spending 10 million yuan on a live stream, which astonishes the boss. Other streamers start sending Chun private messages, hoping for some of his generosity. Zwale, amazed by the 10 million yuan gift, thinks she's dreaming. She receives a board from the boss, confirming a 10% raise if she keeps this high spender engaged. Determined, she sends Chun a kiss and thanks him for the gifts, requesting a private message. However, Chun sleeps peacefully through the night. The next morning, his roommates are excitedly discussing a news report about someone spending 10 million yuan on a live stream. Chun wakes up, hearing their conversation, and realizes he spent a lot of money last night but didn't establish any binding relationships. He concludes that the bonding must happen in real life and laments the wasted money. Checking the messages on the app, he wonders if he's digging himself into a hole. His roommates are excitedly heading somewhere, and Chun asks what they're up to. They remind him of a public class where they can see the campus beauty, Xiao Yuki, up close. Xiao Yuki, the dream girl of all the boys, is a talented pianist, ballet principal, and second-level athlete, making her highly unattainable. Chun sits in the student hall, catching the attention of some girls who comment on his newfound handsomeness. He thinks about how no one has been able to win over Xiao Yuki in 3 years, wondering how much it would cost. Shutong and her friend sit a few rows behind him. Her friend notices Chin's improved looks and asks if he's dressed up for Shutong, who admits it seems likely, though her heart is conflicted due to her relationship with her current boyfriend. Chun, noticing Shutong's increasing favorability, thinks she is shallow but focuses on his plan to win over Xiao Yuki. Suddenly, a guy tries to impress his friends by approaching Xiao and asking for her WeChat. She ignores him, but her roommate, Wu Zofei, confronts the guy, scaring him off. Chen steps in, boldly asking Xiao for her WeChat, causing a stir among the students. Wu Zofei is impressed by Chen's confidence and asks if he wants to join the student union, but Chen replies he is not interested. He straightforwardly tells Xiao he wants to chase her, making her blush. Surprisingly, Xiao agrees to share her WeChat, shocking everyone. Shudong's friend questions if Qian isn't supposed to be Shudong's fish, but Shutong is furious watching Chen's actions. Chen reflects on the simplicity of his approach, believing that all women love to be pursued. The system successfully establishes the dog-licking relationship, though Xiao Yuki's current favorability is 0. After class, as they leave the university, Chen's friends praise him for getting Xiao Yuki's WeChat. They note how much he has changed recently, joking that he now looks like a dog. One friend asks if Chun can get Xiao to introduce some of her friends to them. Chun downplays it, saying she's the school beauty and he's nothing special, accusing his friends of exaggerating. Suddenly, the guy who Wu threatened earlier calls Chen a loser with self-awareness, sarcastically commending Chun for his wisdom. Chen retorts that the guy is more professional and that he should learn from him, which enrages the guy. He accuses Chun of being a blind cat running into a dead rat and warns him not to be too proud. Just then, Zuolei appears, complaining that Chen is slow and she has been waiting for him. The boys around them are shocked to see Zua talking to him. Chen responds that he wouldn't dare keep a girl waiting and offers to buy her dinner as an apology. Zua asks if she looks good in the clothes he bought her. Chen praises her, saying the clothes were made for her and the bag looks best when she carries it. They walk away talking, leaving the crowd in awe. The earlier guy starts crying, wondering why he's always a step behind. Shutong, also crying, feels overshadowed by Zua despite being first. Zua and Chen go to a restaurant, where she gives him a portrait she drew of him, staying up all night to complete it. She warns him not to discard her casually. Chun is surprised, as it's the first gift he's received from a girl. Zua smiles, asking if he likes it. Chen wonders if this is a trap she set from the moment he spent money on her, but he smirks, knowing he's not who he used to be. Zua, sensing his lack of enthusiasm, feels he didn't like her gift. Chen asks why she gave him the portrait, mentioning she stayed up late for him. He takes it from her hand and asks how she plans to be responsible if he doesn't receive such good gifts in the future. Zua yells that he scared her and demands the painting back, but Chun says he wants to keep it as a family heirloom. He pulls her closer, saying he likes her better in person than in her gifts. Blushing, Zua thinks Chun is an expert in flirting, and her favorability increases by 5 points. Chun thinks that if she wants him to be her dog, she must be a good tool and bring in more money. Suddenly, someone interrupts them, pushing them apart. It's Wang Yu, nearly in tears, asking Zwa why she lied about getting her nails done with friends. He accuses her of hugging Chin because he's wealthy and laments that despite chasing her for so long, she never let him touch her hand. Chin, familiar with this treatment, thinks Wang must be Zwa's licking dog. Zwa asks Wang who he thinks he is to her and says it's none of his business if she falls in love. Chen steps in, introducing himself and asking Wang how long he has been chasing Zwa. Wang replies he's from the fine arts department and has been chasing her for half a year. Chen tells Wang that he chased a girl for 3 years, worked 4 odd jobs, and lived on steamed buns and pickles, but she chose someone with a Mercedes-Benz. He advises Wang to focus on self-improvement and make a name for himself to make her regret her choice. Inspired, Wang starts crying, thanking Chun for his advice. Zwa is puzzled by their conversation. Wang tells Chun he's just a friend to Zwa. Chun, however, says he doesn't care about her past but feels disrespected. He tears the painting in front of her, telling her she can use yesterday's card but they won't meet until she gets her relationship in order. Leaving the cafe, Chun laughs devilishly, eager to see how Zwa will handle it. Zwa starts shedding tears, realizing it's the first time someone has treated her like this, increasing her favorability by another 5 points. While walking on campus in the evening, Chun thinks about women and how they shouldn't be taken for granted. Checking his phone, he notes Zwa's progress but decides it's time to focus on Xiao Yuki. He discovers that Xiao is live streaming, showcasing her talents in singing, dancing, and piano, asking viewers for support. Chin finds her cute and wonders if she's warm beneath her cold exterior. He sees her earnings and thinks it's too low. Suddenly, he receives a text from Zwa, reminding him of the gifts he sent her. When he asks if she's free to meet, she initially declines due to a packed schedule, but he tells her not to bother. She then offers to do a special dance for him that night, but Chun is angry, feeling she's trying to trick him into spending more. Frustrated, he considers giving his money to Xiao instead. Xiao receives a notification for a PK, performance battle, and Chun decides to watch. Ziru, confident in her skills, thinks she'll easily win. Chen watches, thinking it's hard to predict the outcome. Ziru tells her viewers she's matched with a new girl, Xiao, and boasts about her chances. However, she's shocked when Chun starts sending multiple rockets, gifts, to Xiao. Ziru becomes worried, realizing she's losing her supporter. Her boss demands an explanation, and she apologizes to her viewers, signing off early. Chun, pleased with the turn of events, watches Zhao's live stream. At the headquarters of the live streaming app, an employee informs the boss about the significant gifts Chen sent, wondering if he's a Middle Eastern prince. Wu tells Xiao her broadcast is trending, suggesting she might become an internet celebrity. Xiao, surprised, says she doesn't want that and believes the most important thing for a woman is career and financial independence. Wu asks if she knows the guy who sent the gifts, and Xiao replies she doesn't. Annoyed by his curiosity, she decides to thank the gift sender privately. Suddenly, Xiao screams. Wu asks what happened, and Xiao shows him her phone, realizing the rich man is Chen Yuan. She speculates that Chun, despite his low-key nature, is a wealthy and well-educated individual who prefers to live an ordinary life to avoid the scrutiny of others. One day, he meets the girl he loves and bravely pursues her as a commoner. Xiao thinks this must be Chen's story and asks her if she is reading too many novels these days. She does not care what Wu thinks and says Chen has lived well since childhood, so pretending to be ordinary must be challenging. Now she has to thank him sincerely. Chen comes back after taking a shower and sees Zhao's text. She invites him to dinner tomorrow and says she will wait for him at the school gate. Chen thinks that she did not ask him where he got the money for the gift, but simply invited him to dinner. He wants to see what she is up to. The next evening, he reaches the school gate on an electric bike and stops near a luxury car. The middle-aged man with a cigar outside the luxury car asks Chun if he is waiting for someone. He replies yes and asks if he is waiting for someone too. The man replies that he came here to pick up his goddess. Xiao appears on the road, and Chun looks at him in shock. The uncle tells Chun not to look at her and says Chun must work hard to earn money, or uncles like him will pick up all these beauties. Xiao looks at Chun and sits on his bike behind him. The uncle is shocked to see that beauty choosing that guy's bike over his luxury car. He kneels and cries, asking what the purpose of making so much money is. Xiao feels like riding a heavy bike and sitting with her husband after marriage. They arrive at a local restaurant, and Chun parks his bike outside. Their orders of spicy and garlic dishes are served. Chun starts serving her food. She adores his manner, thinking he forgot to be a gentleman even in a simple stall. It is the style of a noble family. Chun passes her the glove box. She smiles and thinks he treats people with a sense of propriety. A little more and they will be attentive, a little less and they will be cold. He is a very disciplined family man. Chun wears a glove and starts eating lobsters with his hands. She looks at him and thinks this must be the smallest lobster he has ever eaten. She thinks that if he is so rich and eats with her, he does not want her to be stressed out. She thinks he is such a soft, gentle flower of the highlands. Her favorability towards him increases by 10 points. Surprised by this sudden increase, the lobster falls out of his hand. She picks up a lobster and feeds him with her hands. She blushes and says she will peel the shrimp for him. He is amazed and starts liking her generosity. When she is feeding him, Shang and her boyfriend enter the restaurant. She is shocked to see Xiao feeding Chin shrimp. She is worried and thinks first it was Zhou Liu and now Xiao Yuki. She wonders how he could be so capable. She tells her boyfriend Junkai that there are too many people here and asks if they can go somewhere less crowded. He grabs her and says he thinks there are a lot of acquaintances. He tells her that he is a person who likes to eat in crowded places. He goes to Chin's table and throws some money at him, telling Chun to take these $500 and give him his seat. Chin looks at the currency notes fallen there and wonders what Junkai is doing and if he thinks he looks good like that. Junkai throws more notes and asks him if these are enough before Chin shows any reaction. Xiao stands up in anger. He thinks that he was provoked and wonders why she is so angry. Xiao angrily thinks about what that dog thinks of himself, daring to mess up her perfect date. Seeing all that money, a guy comes there and tells Junkai to give that money to him, and he will give his table to Junkai. Junkai grabs him by the shirt and angrily says he wants this table. Suddenly, he gets hit by a purse, and one of his teeth breaks. It was Xiao, and Chun was stunned to see her being this brave. At that very moment, a vast woman appears on the scene and tells Junkai that he eats her food, wears her clothes, drives her car, and asks how he dares to use her money to pick up girls. That woman looks furious. Chun looks at her and is scared to death. Junkai, who just got hit by Xiao, grabs his face with one hand and asks why Xiao is here. She thunders and asks if she had not been here, how she would have discovered that he was having fun with women behind her back. She says Junkai is a beast worse than a pig or a dog. Junkai tries to play innocent and says she has got it all wrong. He asks how he could have a woman. He says that she has given him everything, and there is no way he could betray her. He grabs Shang by her hair, pulls her, and says it was her. She seduced him. Shang cries and says that Junkai is lying. He asked her first and also said that he was single. He slaps her on her face and tells her to shut up. Shang looks at him with tears in her eyes. He again raises a hand at her and tells her to lower her gaze. Chin grabs his wrist and stops him there. He asks Junkai if he does not feel ashamed of himself while hitting a woman. Shang cannot believe that Chin took a stand for her. She thinks he still loves her, and her favorability for him increases and reaches the target point. The system informs him that Lin Shang, the dog-licking partner number 2, has a favorability score of 95 for the host. It congratulates the host for a successful counterattack. Dog-licking target 2 spent 50,000 on dog-licking gold and rewarded the host 5,000 yuan. Lin Shang is transferred into a licking dog. The host is rewarded with 20 enhancement points. With those points, his strength and agility increase. Chun bends Junkai's arm. Junkai gets hurt and asks him to let him go. He lifts a bottle from a table and tries to hit Chun with it, but Chun breaks the bottle in Junkai's nose with one punch. Chen tells him that there is no shame in eating soft food, but he is a beast who eats soft food and beats women. Junkai feels insulted and brings out a knife from his pocket. He lifts a bottle from a table and tries to hit Chun with it, but Chun breaks the bottle in Junkai's nose with one punch. Chen tells him that there is no shame in eating soft food, but he is a beast who eats soft food and beats women. Junkai feels insulted and brings out a knife from his pocket. Xiao tells Chun to watch out. Chun speedily grabs his wrist and releases the knife from his grip. Then he lifts him and throws him. Junkai passes out. The crowd gathers around to see the fight. Chun starts walking outside. Shang looks at him and rushes toward him. She grabs his leg and says she was wrong and blind. She asks him for a chance to start over. He asks her if Chin, whom she is talking to, is the person who once carried her over 10 kilometers to the emergency room at 3 a.m. Is he still the same Chun who saved up for half a year to buy her a cell phone only to be criticized for not being the latest model? Is it Chin who knows she is frivolous and vain, but always believes she will look back one day? He tells her that the old Chun is already dead. She chose it herself. Then he leaves her there crying. Chin drops Xiao at her hostel. He apologizes to President Xiao for the mess tonight. She replies that calling her president is too rude. He should just call her Kiki. She adds that she did not feel disturbed, but got to see a different side of someone. She thinks that Chun is a person who becomes more impressive the more someone looks at him. He has a hunch that he will bring her countless surprises. Shang enters her room while crying. Her friend asks her why she has not brought an umbrella, as it is showering so hard outside. Shang just calls Chun Yuan's name and says nothing else. Her friend thinks that she has heard that Chun swiped over 10 million for Zhao's live broadcast yesterday. She says this kid looks like a beggar but is so rich. Shang is shocked to hear that and asks her where she heard that news. She replies that Wu Fia's dorm roommate said it, and it is all over the women's dormitory. She thought Shang knew. Shang starts screaming after hearing everything. Chun is playing a video game. His friend asks him if he is outrageous. He has won 18 times in a row tonight. They ask him if he is a gaming genius. Chun thinks that he did not expect that after adding 20 attributes, even playing games would become easier. This is a surprise. He replies to his friends that he is in good condition. One of his friends asks him why he does not become an anchor. He says that when Chun makes 1 million a month, he can fly with him. Chun removes his shirt and looks at himself in the washroom's mirror. He thinks the attribute points have made qualitative changes in his body and is in better shape. He focuses on his jawline and says that calling himself the Peng Yuan of Hunan University should not be too much. He looks at his abs and says that with such a perfect body, he does not know which woman would be cheapened. Suddenly, his friend calls him and asks if he has fallen into the toilet hole. He tells him that the phone is ringing continuously. He comes out and checks his phone and wonders why Zul is calling him so late. He wonders if she is thinking of some new tricks to trick him. He calls her and asks her why she called him so late. She is crying on the other side. She tells him that she does not know what to do. She could only think of him. She asks if he can lend her $500,000. She wonders if he sees her as his future wife. Chen asks her what their relationship even means, suggesting there's no need for distinctions if it's not about him and her. She blushes more, her favorability rapidly increasing to 90 points. Chen thinks his acting skills are improving and that the film industry owes him an Oscar. Chen paid the initial deposit of 10 million, stating he'd transfer the remaining amount to Hong after completing the formalities. Hong replies that Chen can leave the transfer matters to him, assuring it will be sorted out in a few days. As they sit in the taxi, Hong waves them goodbye, thinking that with Smokey's wealth, it's surprising he insists on taking a taxi daily for physical exercise, proving that the wealthier he gets, the more low-key he becomes. While sitting in the taxi, Chung considers that President Zhao's favorability is already at 90 points. Once he completes the licking dog transformation, the 70 million invested in her will turn into 700 million in returns, with additional attribute point rewards making it a hefty profit. Xiao looks at him, thinking that based on her experience reading novels, if Qian just said something embarrassing, the next part might be their wedding. She wonders if the wedding will be in Milan or the Alps and what name would suit their child. Her daydreaming is interrupted when the driver tells them they've arrived. She exits the taxi and asks Chun if he isn't getting out. He replies that his roommates have invited him to play games at the internet cafe, bids her goodbye, and leaves. She becomes sad, saying it shouldn't be like this as she wanted to confess. Chun arrives at the internet cafe, seeing his friends already playing. They ask why he took so long and tell him to hurry up and open a card, as they've saved a machine for him. He assures them not to worry and that he will drive the machine to take them flying. At the counter, he asks to open a 20U card, 4 packs of liquid cigarettes, and 4 bottles of iced black tea. It's Sue at the counter. She calls out to Chun, who is looking at his phone. Hearing her voice, he looks at her and asks what she's doing there. She blushes and explains she told him earlier that her dad runs a chain of internet cafes and opened this one thanks to him. Her family's debt has been completely paid off. She excitedly offers him a lifetime membership to the internet cafe with unlimited computer access. He replies that it's not necessary, but she insists. Suddenly, a gangster asks Zhu if she is Lao's daughter and when her father will repay the money he owes them. She replies that she paid 5 million last time and questions why she still needs to pay more. The gangster slams his bat on the counter, stating that 5 million was the principal, and there's still 15 million in interest owed. She accuses him of engaging in fraud and robbery. He grabs her, threatening that if she can't come up with 15 million today, she will have to come with them. He insinuates that with her looks, she would be the star of his nightclub, easily earning enough to cover the debt in 1 or 2 years. Seeing this, Chun grabs the gangster's arm, twists it, and warns them to leave quickly before he gets angry. The gangster retorts, saying Chun is meddling and orders his men to kill him. As all the gangsters attack simultaneously, Chun kicks them, impressing his friends with the blind monk's ultimate move, the cyclone kick. The gangsters leave the cafe, warning Chun not to cross their path again. Zhu hugs Chun, thanking him for saving her again, saying she was scared to death. Chun gets a notification that Zhu Li's favorability has reached 95 points, congratulating him on a successful counterattack. It states that the dog-licking target spent 53 million Yu in dog-licking gold, rewarding Chun with 530,000 Yu and 5 bonus points. Chun thinks today is a double delight. Suddenly, Shanong arrives and sees Zhu hugging Chun. She calls her treacherous, accusing her of hiding and seducing Chen Yuan while enjoying the benefits alone. Chen, embarrassed by their fighting, tells the system to add all the points to strengthening and agility. The next day, students are wandering on the sports field, including Chen. He thinks Lin Shudong and Zhu Liu have been successfully wooed, so dealing with President Xiao will be a piece of cake. He decides it's time to find new targets, fearing he might end up with no one left to charm. Suddenly, a girl taps his back, asking if he can move aside as he's causing inconvenience to others. She explains their sports club has requisitioned the field for a short distance race and requests he avoid the area. He looks at her closely, noting that despite her fierceness, she seems straightforward and genuine. He agrees, then shows her his phone, asking for her WeChat ID to add her there. Suddenly, a guy arrives, questioning what Chun is doing. He claims to be her boyfriend and tells Chun to give up the idea. Chun recognizes him as someone who used to beat him up. The guy calls Chun a toad dreaming of eating swan meat, telling him to face reality. Chun thinks it's a narrow road between enemies. The system binds the girl in the dog-licking relationship, revealing her name is Henning, and her current favorability towards Cheon is 5. If he succeeds, he'll be rewarded with 10% of the dog-licking gold and 22 enhancement points. Chun finds this target attractive. The referee asks the players to get ready as the competition is about to begin. The guy also lines up at the starting line, with Jing rooting for her boyfriend. As the race starts, the guy runs faster than the other players, maintaining the lead. He thinks the other players are like ants, but suddenly, someone overtakes him. Shocked, he wonders how someone can be this fast. It's Chun, who leaves him behind, determined to defeat him in his strongest field. Yang acknowledges that Chun cannot be underestimated, laughing and thinking he will show Chun what it means to be a great emperor. However, he soon wonders where Chen has gone, only to see Chun lapping him by a whole round. Stunned, he wonders how many seconds it took. Chen smirks, confident that a mere decade of hard training cannot compare to his meticulously planned skill points over a week. The anchor announces witnessing something extraordinary, calling Chun the real speedster. The crowd cheers as Chun completes a lap in just 50 seconds. Chun wins the race, leaving Jing in disbelief over her boyfriend's loss. The anchor declares a new champion has been born, breaking records and surpassing human intellect. The coach approaches Chun, impressed by his abilities, and recommends him for the national track and field team. Ling, crying, asks the coach if the spot wasn't meant for him. Jing, feeling oddly detached from Ling, increases her favorability towards Chun by 5 points. Ling calls out to her, sensing her thoughts are elsewhere, but she smiles to cover up, saying she's just a little worried about him. Meanwhile, her favorability continues to rise for Chin. Xiao enters the room, and Wu asks where she has been. She replies that Chun bought her a house, shocking Wu. She explains she saw a house with him today, and he bought it for 60 million. She asks Wu to help check the house prices in Jianu district, warning that if the chubby guy selling the house plays dirty, she won't spare him. Chun had told her that what belongs to him also belongs to her. Wu laments his own misfortune, wondering why he can't encounter such good luck. He feels jealous of her. Wu tells her not to show off and promises to help. Suddenly, he sees something on his phone and yells, "What is this?" Someone has posted an article about Chun, labeling him a top-tier scumbag juggling multiple relationships simultaneously at the 21st level. Chen's roommate shows him the article online and mocks him. Chun is furious, thinking the article's author must be kidding him. He knows he's just a money-splitting boy and realizes he's been relatively high-profile lately, suspecting someone might not be happy about it. He wonders who that person could be. 3 nerds are behind this scene. The one with glasses tells the others their article has been pushed to the top of the list and has gone viral. His fellow laughs, saying Chin's reputation is over. Suddenly, Ling comes to them and asks what they're doing by drawing the curtains and turning off the lights in broad daylight. Startled by his sudden appearance, they call him scary for always walking silently. The main culprit tells Ling about Chen Yuan from the School of Liberal Arts, saying they're dealing with him because he's been very arrogant lately. Ling looks at Chin's picture and recognizes him as the guy from the sprint race, realizing it's the same Chun he used to beat up in high school. He laughs and tells the 3 he knows Chin well, having gone to the same high school. He describes Chun as a sociopath since childhood and provides information about him. Ling says Chan is probably not a good guy, accusing him of persistently clinging to and harassing girls. The 3 welcome Lings help to add more to their viral article. Ling seeks revenge, thinking it doesn't matter if Chin wins games and the coach likes him. He wants Chin ruined. They update the post, claiming Chin rides on mini boats, objectifies women, and frequently teases and belittles them, advising women to beware of this well-dressed beast. They allege the women in relationships with him are not there voluntarily. The article states an insider revealed Chun had a reputation in high school as a 3-headed dog, the best of all, licking dogs. The article spreads like wildfire, shocking everyone who reads it. The university principal reads it, slamming his phone on the table in anger. He declares it too much and unreasonable, vowing to investigate and, if true, expel this scum. Xiao tells the investigation team that Chen Yuan from Huda College of Liberal Arts is an exceptional person who despises girls' suffering, comes from a famous family, and possesses extraordinary wealth yet is generous and helpful. She adds that he transforms into a dark knight at night, fighting evil and protecting the city from sin. Xiao describes him as a hero based on her woman's intuition. The principal, hearing this, asks his secretary if Xiao Yuki's testimony is credible. The secretary replies that although she seems a bit weird, as the vice president of the student union, she shouldn't lie, implying Chun is probably a good person. The principal orders the officers to question Chin's classmates further. The officers approach Sheng, showing her their IDs and asking for help in their investigation. They take her to the investigation room, where she starts crying, insisting Chen Yuan is a good person and expressing her own feelings of inadequacy. She admits to being emotional, saying it pains her to think of him because he doesn't love her back. The officer hands her a tissue and clarifies that she thinks Chen Yuan is a good person despite rejecting her love. She confirms this, stating Chun is undoubtedly good and has done nothing wrong. The principal hears her testimony, leaves the room, and smokes outside, contemplating the possibility of Chin's innocence and the forum's intent to smear him. He then sees 2 people approaching with a banner. Introducing himself as the president of Hunan University, he asks what they need. Zoil, from the art department, presents a banner for Chen Yuan from the literature college, praising his bravery and help to her family. Shocked by this, the principal realizes he may have wrongly accused Chen. He reviews the post again, now noticing videos in favor of Chen, including one of him winning the race and numerous comments from girls supporting him. The principal, seeing Chen's innocent looks, grabs his head in worry, wondering if Chen is a popular idol unfairly targeted. The principal calls all the students to the hall, announcing that recent rumors against Chen Yuan are completely false. He declares it slander and pulls Chen closer, praising his correct lifestyle, willingness to help others, and secret acts of bravery. He gives Chen a certificate, urging others to learn from him. The students applaud, leaving Chen embarrassed and wondering when he has shown such courage. Ling, burning with jealousy, cannot understand why Chen hasn't been ruined and thinks everyone is blind, believing he should be the one receiving applause. Seeing his girlfriend, Jing, enchanted by Chen's personality, Ling's anger grows as her favorability towards Chen increases. After the ceremony, Ling confronts Jing, accusing her of enthusiastically applauding Chen Yuan. She responds, questioning his health and jealousy, stating she only admires Chen as a fellow student who has done many good deeds, yet remains indifferent to fame and wealth. She mentions that after winning against Ling, Chen could have become prideful but chose humility instead. These comments fuel Ling's anger, and he grabs her wrist, telling her to shut up. She starts weeping, saying he is hurting her. Ling, consumed by hatred, calls Chen a useless dog he once stepped on, arguing that society values money and power, which his dad can buy. He asks what Chen has in his possession. Suddenly, Chen passes by, talking on the phone, instructing Hong to drive in but keep a low profile, not picking him up in an overly expensive car. Jing and Ling forget their fight, watching as a fancy car arrives and stops by Chen. He tells the driver he asked for a less extravagant car, further intriguing Jing and leaving Ling fuming. Chen scolds Hong softly and tells him to pay attention next time. Hong apologizes and explains that he rushed and forgot Chen doesn't like it too flashy. Hong opens the door for him, and Chen gets in. Ling is shocked by what he has just seen. After the car leaves, Jing tells Ling they should break up as he does not trust her. Ling cannot believe his girlfriend is breaking up with him. Chen Yuan and Hong go to the office where Chen pays the remaining amount to Hong, who gives him the villa papers after completing all the legal procedures. Chen says that he is heading back to school. Hong offers him a lift, but Chen refuses, saying that Hong's car attracts too much attention and he will take a taxi back himself. While walking on the road, he thinks that even though he has bought the house, he still needs to prioritize winning President Xia's favor. After all, reaching full favorability earns a 25-point attribute bonus. He needs to give her something else. He checks his phone to see what else Hong wants to sell. He opens the group chat and sees praises for him for buying an expensive villa in no time and gifting it to his girlfriend. Chen replies that it is just a small favor. Suddenly, someone posts in the group an ad about selling a car. Chen likes the idea of giving President Xia a car. Chen reaches the showroom of that guy, who receives him in person. He introduces himself as Jiang Hain. His family runs a small business, and he personally manages a small car dealership. He says it is a pleasure to meet Mr. Smokey. He gives Chen his business card. Chen knows that the Jiang Group makes cars and cargo ships. It is a large local enterprise, and this guy surnamed Jiang is a wealthy second-generation entrepreneur. He calls him Brother Jiang and says that managing a large car dealership at a young age is truly impressive. Jiang tells him not to call him brother as he cannot afford it, and tells him just to call him by his name. He would like to take Chen on a tour to see some cars. He tells Chen that he is really young and promising. When he first heard Hong say Mr. Smokey, he thought he was an uncle but did not expect Mr. Smokey to be so young and have such outstanding charisma. One of Jiang's secretaries asks the other who that person is whom Mr. Jiang received personally. She replies that he must be the son of some wealthy tycoon, and tells the other not to bother looking into it as this kind of man is not someone they should be concerned about. Jiang shows Chen his collection and says that he would not speak for elsewhere, but in this city, his place has the most complete collection of luxury cars. Everything he can think of is here. Chen looks around and says he wants to buy a Bugatti Chiron. These words hit Jiang like an arrow. He smiles embarrassingly and says that Chen really loves to joke, as the Chiron is a top luxury car with a limited edition of 20 units in the world. Chen asks if he is saying that he does not have it. Chen asks if he has a Lamborghini Veneno or Pagani Huayra Roadster. These words are critically hitting Jiang, who wonders if Chen is here to disrupt his place. He explains that the vehicles he usually deals with range from 2 million to 89 million. Chen gets that Jiang has no car that he desires and tells him that there is nothing suitable for him there. He also mentions that Zhang's business does not seem to be that extensive. Zhang thinks that Chen can buy houses worth tens of millions, but he finds it hard to believe he can afford cars of the same value. He decides to unveil his trump card to keep the shop bustling. He tells Chun that even though he does not have the cars he asked for, he does have one expensive car, a Ferrari LaFerrari. It features a 6.3L V12 naturally aspirated engine capable of delivering a maximum power output of 588 kilowatts. The independent electric motor produces 120 kilowatts of power, contributing to a total output of 800 horsepower. Paired with a 7-speed dual-clutch transmission, it achieves an acceleration time of less than 3 seconds from 0 to 100 kilometers per hour. It is available for 22.5 million yuan. Zhang asks Chun how he would respond in such a scenario. Chun thinks that while the Ferrari may not be excessively expensive, it is still not considered cheap. It would indeed be fitting as a gift for President Xia. He puts a hand on Zhang's shoulder and says that if it is over 20 million, he will buy it. Zhang has put in effort. Chun tells him to take him to swipe the card and to deliver the car to the Hang Riverside Villa community. Zhang is shocked and takes the card from him. Suddenly, Chun gets a call from his friendly one and wonders why he is calling him at this time. When tells Chun that on his birthday, his girlfriend Liu Jia said she was accompanying her best friend to do nails. It got very late, and Liu Jia did not bring an umbrella with her. He was worried about her, so he hurriedly took an umbrella to give it to her, but he witnessed a scene that tore his heart apart. She was kissing some rich guy with a car in the rain. At that moment, he had a sense of confusion. They were getting wet in the rain while he, holding the umbrella, felt like a drowned rat. When is crying and tells Chun that his heart hurts so much. It was a 3-year relationship. He had planned to take her home to meet his parents. Chun tells him to stop drinking as he has already had 8 bottles of beer. When sobs and asks if he did something wrong and if he can still try to win her back. Chen grabs him by his shirt and scolds him. He tells him that he must stay clear-headed as the mistake is hers, not his. He tells him to pick up his self-respect and not become a licking dog. When falls to his knees and says he already knows all of this, but he does not know what to do. Chen looks at his miserable friend and says it is hard to accept. He asks one if he thinks Leo is just impulsive and not a bad person. Chun needs to teach one a lesson. He brings out his phone and dials a number. When asks what he is talking about and whom he is planning to call, Chen tells one to trust him and let him handle this situation. He will make Leo kneel before him and repent. Chun calls Janghausen and says he wants to borrow a few cars, noting that they are too expensive, just a few million each. He also asks if Zhang can contact some of his trustworthy friends to have them drive the cars over tomorrow. Zhang replies that he will handle this matter properly for him. One wonders why there are double crosses involved in this. After that, Chun calls Zul and asks her if she is free tonight. He would like to meet up with her. He tells her the address and says he will wait for her there. One looks at his friend and says he seems to have changed a bit. In the evening, they meet at a restaurant. One is stunned to see Zole hugging Chun so openly. She says she missed him so much. One thinks that Chen made a single call and brought an 8 out of 10 girl.